Okay, and I switch on the camera. Okay, so perfect. And all the participants, thank you so much for joining the session on generative AI for office applications. Okay, what are we going to do today? Learn. Right, okay, we will learn, of course. Yeah. The idea is to have fun. And as a trainer who has spent so many years in the corporate world, introductions are to follow. But as somebody who has spent so many years in the corporate world and now, last at least a decade now, in training, the moment you tell yourself that I am going to learn something new or train, the mind says, oh my God, something new. But the moment you tell your mind, I'm going to have fun, right? It opens up and more things can be poured into it, in the mind. Okay. So the idea is to have fun. You don't need to take notes because the way I will explain this should come all naturally to you rather than a kind of a forced thing that okay, after one you have to write two and then three and then a four, etc. It should come very naturally, ideally. Okay. um, Rules of the session, there are no rules. We're not in school anymore, come on, right? So there are no rules in the session. If you have a question, unmute, ask a question, come on, right? You don't have to kind of say what will others think. Nobody thinks anything. And for that matter, if you ask a question, you will learn, everyone else will also learn something, and who knows, I might also learn something. So I come from the fact that, am I a know-all? No, I am not a know-all. Nobody is a know-all. And I learn so many things in such sessions, all thanks to the participants. Okay, so let me share my screen and we get going. Just one moment. I share my screen here. And here we go. Okay, so a formal welcome from Greater Insights to all the wonderful participants. Okay, and Greater Insights, the tagline is learning simplified. Let's simplify things. We are adults doesn't mean that we have to complicate things. So there is a great amount of resonance between my thoughts and Greater Insights, and which is why we kind of form this kind of a pair. Okay. So session on generative AI for office applications. Okay. A quick introduction about myself. The name is Aman. I'm a corporate trainer, as we can see, and I'm a prompt engineer. I've spent 30 plus years in the IT and consulting world altogether, including training. Companies where I've worked are Microsoft, Oracle, Hewlett Packard, HCL Technologies. HCL, I started my career way back in 1990. And that is where we are right now at 58 years of life. I enjoy my life because I do what I love doing. And this is what I love doing. I like to learn so many things and I like to pass on whatever I learn. I like to share that knowledge, share that information. Okay, good. Enough about me. Now we move on quickly to the agenda. My typical trainings, friends, is all about doing things at the absolutely highest level, macro level. And then you kind of keep coming down as if you are in an aircraft at the highest level, and then you keep descending. The moment we descend, we see more and more things, and finally we look at the nuts and the bolts. But the high level view is always very good to have a kind of a mind map, and which is when navigating the landscape. At 35,000 typical feet, we see the landscape a lot more. And then what we do is we start descending, talk specifics, introduction to Gen AI, prompts. And that is what the session is going to be all about today. Crafting effective prompts, techniques within that, some of the mistakes, and some frameworks, etc. Okay. I will be spending the next maybe about 5 minutes maximum, 5 to 7 minutes, just talking a little bit about theory. So you have to bear with me, but that is going to clear a lot of doubts which participants generally tend to have. So, navigating the landscape, we have been hearing about AI slash ML all the while. AI, ML, AI, ML. What is it? One slide to give you a high level view. Okay. AI is software. software which has the capability to think the way we do. Let's go back to the school days, maybe in kindergarten or maybe first grade. We were all taught 1 plus 1 addition. Who taught us 100 plus 100? No one. We learned by ourselves. So, likewise, the software AI, generative AI, also needs a lot of training. We'll come to it. But at the same time, we cannot teach anyone or any software everything. It's impossible. So, it has to learn. So, this is all about it. Within that big universe of AI is machine learning, when machines learn by themselves based on rules, algorithms that you are seeing on the screen. So algorithms are a set of rules by which they understand. So say, for example, you have autonomous cars, Tesla, self-driving cars. How does it understand that this is a red light versus there is a green light? Understanding, seeing, the cameras see and they try to understand, oh, this is red. Red means this, green means this. Within that is another smaller universe, which is neural networks or deep learning, which is all the way we think. This is all about the computer scientists, etc. Okay, so this is all about AI and ML. Examples of AI. Have you used AI? And when I ask participants, they say, oh, yeah, ChatGPT. I have. I said, forget ChatGPT. Anything else? Oh, no, no, I haven't used AI at all. Oh, you haven't used AI? Come on. Google Lens and OCR. Google Lens, I think I've heard about it. Oh, okay. Let's look at it. Google Lens. Okay. So what am I going to do? I maybe click and I would say maybe news. Yeah. Okay. So something just opened up. What do? I can just right click on my browser, search with Google Lens, and I can just copy this, highlight. Yeah, see, I highlighted it and now I can select the text, click, it says copy, or I can even translate it. The moment, and I'm not even typing, see, English to Hindi, any language that I want, I can literally, without using the keyboard, I can literally translate all the things that I literally want. I can even copy and paste it. Okay, so these are some of the things. This is Google Lens, and OCR is optical character recognition. So this is what you can do if you are on a browser, etc. You can always look at it. But let's look at something else. What else can it do? So what do I have over here? I've got a balance sheet of ITC. Okay, and I want to understand of what is this balance sheet. I've got a sales background, so I understand very, very little of finance. So let's, okay, just one moment. I will close it here. Do you see the plus over here? Okay. I'm going to click that, upload from computer, from the desktop, ITC report PDF, right? This is OCR, optical character recognition, lens and OCR put together. Now I will say, tell me what are the things that you can do with the uploaded document. I'm not even saying that it's about finance. And I say, look at this. With the uploaded ITC report annual 2023, I can do this. It is reading it. Okay. So what will I do? I will say comparative. Okay. What would you like me to do? So I just copy this. I paste this. And I just say, okay. So you said you can do comparison. Well, I want you to do comparison. Okay, so it's doing a 22-23 comparison over here. Now you can use this for children's school studies, you can do for research. The things are literally unlimited. Okay. So we see this. What more? It gives us a lot of key takeaways, insights of what this is. So what am I going to do? I want a bar chart for it is analyzing oh, there we go. You don't like the colors? Is that what I heard? Somebody saying, oh, the colors are very dull. Is it? I want the blue color to be changed to bright red. Ah, there we go. And now you want it in PowerPoint. All you do is right click, copy image, save it in PowerPoint, save it in Word, wherever you want it, you can do it. But the fact is, this is not dynamic. So when the figures change, assuming it's a live scorecard, if the figures change, this doesn't change. It's a static thing. But I'm just telling you about the capabilities. Okay. So we have learned about this. Google Lens and OCR. Okay. Grammar check, video games, music. Yes, of course, it can create music. Okay. Navigation, adaptive battery charging, recommendations. Like say, for example, we go to Amazon, Flipkart, any of these online stores, and you buy something, assuming I put this glass in the cart, it says, okay, somebody also bought this. And I say, oh, yes, of course, makes sense. So you buy that, recommendations for detection. Okay, what are machine learning examples? Speech recognition, speech and image recognition. Image, we already did that. Okay. Speech recognition, is it? Can it do speech recognition? I don't know. Let's try it out. Let me insert, just one moment. Okay, let me insert a text box. Just one moment. Okay, I insert a text box and I click on dictate. Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the session on generative AI for office applications. Today's session, we are going to learn about how are we going to utilize the power of generative AI, the various tools, and how do we ensure that we do things which are faster, quicker, thereby increasing productivity, increasing efficiency, and reducing time. And what do you have here? Good afternoon, friends, and welcome. There we go. So why would you want to type? Yeah, this is machine learning. Okay, so we move on. And these are the things that you can incorporate, even if it is ML, you can incorporate into your daily life, where instead of typing, you just speak and it picks it up. Okay, so we do this. So many of these things. Okay. Moving on. A quick one about generative AI. There is a bit of a confusion which I'm going to clear with just one slide. Okay. We talk of a four-wheeler. Four-wheeler tells us very little except the fact that it is a vehicle. That's it. Nothing more. There is no brand. It's a generic term. So in our parlance, we call it Gen AI or generative AI, right? But the moment I talk about a BMW, what does it tell me? It tells me something more. It's a brand. It's a passenger car. It's got to do things with luxury, etc. We learn a little more. Okay. So here we have ChatGPT. ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini. Just the way a BMW, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz are all in the same bracket, right? Luxury car segments. Here we have ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini from different stables. ChatGPT is from OpenAI, Sam Altman, you might have heard. Copilot from Microsoft, Gemini from Google. And there are so many of them. But why am I talking about these three? Because they are primarily used by far and large for content creation. And by content, here I mean text. This is what I mean, right? But if you have to do something beyond text, music, videos, pictures, images, etc., then they can do it, but they are not specialists in that, right? Just the way you have a specialist, like a truck is a specialized vehicle for cargo, or a bus is a specialized vehicle for carrying multiple passengers. You have specialists over here. Okay. The last slide over here is GPT. So when we write something, we get a response, isn't it? We write hi, it says hi, it generates a response. So generative. I told you about 1 plus 1 pre-trained. Yes. So there is a lot of training which gets into it, and which is why we call it pre-trained. Now everything that we build, buses, trucks, dams, houses, bridges, whatever we build, there is an architecture. All the architecture that has been used to build such tools are based on the transformer architecture. That's it, which is why the GPT. Okay, good. Now what are you seeing is a screenshot of ChatGPT. So let's see it in action. While you have been using it, what am I going to do? Is I'm going to show you a few nuances of ChatGPT. Okay, here what you have today, yesterday is all about history. So assuming I was mentioning about website content strategy and feedback. This morning I was doing something related to website content, etc. Right? I can always start from here, or say, for example, Gen AI training opportunity. Okay, I can just start by saying, tell me more. And it picks up from where we left off, right? Tell me more. But assuming you start a new chat and you say, tell me more, it'll ask you, tell you more about what, right? So it understands this. The second aspect is this, where on the right hand side, when you log in, there are of course quite a few things, but I'm going to show you the most important aspect. One is customize your chat GPT. Now, let me tell you something about a para about myself. See? And Mr. Raman Khajanchi, is he a celebrity? Certainly no. Mr. Raman Khajanchi, does he have so many websites and is my name published everywhere? No. So how does it know it? Well, it knows all these things about me because I fed in something over here, customized chat GPT. What should it call you? What do you do? In my present avatar of a corporate trainer, leadership coach, this is what it just mentioned over here. What traits should ChatGPT have? This is all about personalizing your chat GPT. If you do not know what should be written, over here, this small thing, just keep your mouse over here. It'll tell you what can you enter over here, right? There are a few more things over here. Anything else ChatGPT should know about you? Over your mouse, you can populate all the things that you require, albeit no personal information, like say bank accounts, nothing of that sort. Okay, this is the aspect of it. Now, moving on, we go ahead. So we have seen some of the basics. Next is about, based on what we tell, it's known as a prompt. So provide me with a list of Indian cities and corresponding states in a tabulated form. This is what I want. Now, I put it in Google, enter. I put this also in ChatGPT and I do this. Google provides me with a list, right? 54 more rows, etc. It does this, right? Now, this also guy does it. ChatGPT does this. Now I will say, I want this list to be grouped by states. See? So Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, you've done a grouping. Can Google do it? No, Google cannot do it. Right? Now, I'm not saying Google is bad, but the way the search happens is very different from that of generative AI. So if you have to do this, what you'll have to do, you have to get into Gemini, which is Google's equivalent of ChatGPT, or Copilot, which is Microsoft's equivalent. They cannot do it in search. You cannot do it in search. Whatever things that you want to play around with, it responds, generates a response, which is why generative, right? So this is the difference over here. Moving on, where can you use and where not to use? Come on, let's look at it. Okay, where could ChatGPT be used? Wow, content creation, marketing, advertising, educational, data analysis, you name it, and we can do it. Want to get hands on? Come on, let's do it. Okay, first we look at content creation. Now, the idea is there are so many of you all that somebody would be from marketing, somebody would be from sales, somebody from finance, somebody from legal, right? So let's look at a few random examples which come to mind. Content creation. Okay, so I will say over here in ChatGPT. Okay, one more thing before I forget. What is the prompt over here? It's all about Indian cities and states. And now I'm going to tell about content creation for say marketing and advertising. It's a different topic altogether. So the good practice over here is click create it from a fresh slate. Do not use something that you have used earlier if it's a different topic altogether, right? I want you to create content. Is this good enough? Right? It doesn't tell it anything. Okay? I want you to create content. So it will say what? What type of content? Right? What is it that you're looking at? Right? Is it a LinkedIn post, website content, or blog article? So now we realize that just by saying that I want you to create content, it will not create content. Now, here is where the change happens. Stop thinking of Gen AI, generative AI, whatever words that you use, as a software and start thinking of it as a human being. Yeah, literally, think of it as a human being, right? Now, assuming I meet one of you and I said, okay, I want you to create content. What will you ask me? What content? Tell me more, isn't it? So we need to give some sort of a context, some sort of an example, okay? Which is why all these things that we do over here, just by saying, give me educational assistance or help me with programming, is not going to work. So, which is why I'm going to skip this slide. Deliberately, I brought this slide in so that we could understand that by saying create content or analyze data, it's not going to do it. And which is why I skip this. We come back over here, but after learning the tricks or the techniques. Okay, so here are the techniques. So prompt, we know what prompts are. Effective prompts are clear, all the words that you can think about. Crisp, short, sweet, right? To the point. All these words. Or in short, in English, what we say is KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it short and simple. The best way, right? Good. Now, tell me, what do you understand out of this? Could you perhaps da 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 da? You'll say, oh my God, Aman, what is all this? Doesn't it happen? You are still reading, trying to understand, not figuring out what is written. But instead of this, I just tell you this in 2 lines. I want a 3-step guide, 1 instruction on how to build rapport with clients, instruction number 2, and close sales. What sales? B2B software sales. Clean, crisp, Clear, short, sweet. This is how it works. Okay. So how do we craft effective prompts? There are various techniques. Okay. And this is where I want you to internalize it. Okay. Now, say for example, this morning, y'all would have traveled to some place. Y'all maybe would have had breakfast somewhere. Y'all would have had lunch somewhere, right? Y'all would have kind of maybe done some reservation, right? In person, I'm saying, not without speaking. If you're speaking, if you had taken maybe a bus, you would have told the conductor that I want a ticket to this place, the destination. What did you do? You gave the conductor a task that give me a ticket from this bus stop where I got in to this place. If you got in an auto, you do the same thing. If you were driving and you were at the petrol pump, what would have happened? You would have said, I want the car to be filled up with so many liters of petrol or diesel. Task. You went for a breakfast. I want this breakfast. You would have said that, right? So everything that we do, the most important thing, if we want something to be done, we have to start with a task. Without a task, the work will certainly not get done. You all are working professionals. You have teams under you. So what do? You tell your team members, I want this report. I want this. I want it in this format, right? Task. Now, within a task, if you can provide a context, while it is very important, it is not that you always have to give a context, right? Like say, for example, you might just say, if you can just get me a piece of paper or A4 size paper, it doesn't need to have a context, right? But assuming the fact that you are in a restaurant, and in a restaurant you say, okay, I'd like to order coffee, and you want the coffee to be based on your taste, then what do? I'd like to have a coffee. You define the task. Next, you say, oh, okay, by the way, I want the coffee to be very strong and with very little sugar. You set a context for it. So context is important, but it need not be used all the time. I will clarify that in the upcoming slide. If you can give an example, it's a very good thing, right? Persona. The persona is also known as act as hack. It's a hack. So act as hack. My friends, remember this hack. I will give you an example of how powerful this hack is. Persona, and give it a format. Remember the Indian cities and state, I want it in a tabulated form, right? I want it to be classified or grouped by states. So all these are formats. And finally, the tone. If you can mention the tone, good enough, but the least important. Okay. Now we talk about persona or act as. I want you to act as. I want you to be this person, which is the persona prompting. Okay. Now let's have a look at it. Okay. To demonstrate how important it is, what am I going to do? I'll just copy this. What is the prompt over here? It says, provide me with the recipe of a chocolate cake. Right? I just do this, a new chat. I paste this guy and enter. Will I or will I not get a response? I will. But over here, friends, what is important? The important aspect is to have effective prompting techniques. When you write a prompt, you will always get a response. But the idea here is effectiveness is very important. Otherwise, you all know things. Okay. So it has done something to response, etc. It has done all of these. I'm not reading it, but I'll just say I prefer this response. One of them, maybe. Click. Good. Okay. Now I just change the format. Act as hack. Persona based. I'm making you a person. Whom am I making you as? I'm making you a celebrity chef. Assume that you're a celebrity chef. Act as if you're a celebrity chef. You have won international awards for your excellence in baking delicious chocolate cakes. I'm giving examples. I'm setting a context. Now see the last line. Provide me with the recipe of a chocolate cake. It is the same prompt. So what will I do? I am just going to copy this. I paste it here. When we go up, let's for a moment forget about the recipe. Let's talk about the way it introduces itself to us. Here is a simple chocolate. It is like walking to one of these roadside places, right? And you say, I want a tea. How do they serve you tea? Here's your tea. Versus you walk into a good restaurant, how do they serve you? They serve you as if it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my kitchen. I am your celebrity chef and internationally acclaimed pastry chef known for the wordings itself are musical, right? The way it has written this. Today, I am sharing my signature decadent, irresistibly tasty chocolate cake, etc. Right? And the way everything comes in, instructions talks about the cake batter, baked to perfection, talks about luscious ganache frosting. This is all about the prompt. And which is why, how can you apply this in your prompting techniques? Assuming you want something about finance. Now, if you can just say, another example is, let me start with a new chat. Tell me about the, tell me about GST, right? Now what will I do? You are a you are certified in chartered accountancy. Now tell me about GST and how it works. How does GST work? So I've given it an example saying that I want to know how it works. You're a financial expert and consultant. You are a certified chartered accountant. Okay. Understand how does GST work, input tax credit, so on and so forth, the various labs. Okay. Whereas what you have over here is just the very basics. So, so far, the most important thing which we have learned is the prompt which says persona based prompting, or alternately known as act as hack. Right? Okay, let's move on. Now, I'm going to talk to you about 3 other techniques. Okay, now to help you understand it very clearly, I'm going to give you the same example of a restaurant. So I walk in and the waiter says, what would you like to have? I say a coffee. I will be served with a coffee, but it will not be to my taste because it will be based on the way they prepare coffee. Zero shot. So what do I say? Get me a coffee. Zero shot. Right? Okay. A few examples for zero shot prompts. Classify the emotions of the sentence. What is there? Yeah, it can do. It can understand your emotions. When you write something, when somebody writes something, you can say understand the emotion. So I'm thrilled about the new project launch. So what am I going to do? I am just going to copy this, the emotional aspect, and I paste it here. Classify the emotions. Okay. Excitement. The emotion in the sentence is excitement and joy. The word thrilled strongly conveys enthusiasm and happiness. Where can you use this? Assuming you have a team member who has written something and you're not able to just figure out what is the frame of mind of your team member. All you can do is just copy and paste it, albeit, my friends, remember, no personal information should be shared about emails, right? Any name, like say, for example, Abhay, good enough. It works, but no company name, etc., right? Because that is going to be personal and classified information. So anything that is there, company name, personally identifiable information, do not use that to understand what you want to do. Cardinal rule in the world of generative AI. Okay, and you'll be able to understand what is the frame of the mind of your subordinate, assuming, and you might say that the person is very sad. At times we are not psychologists to understand this, but it can understand based on the knowledge, and it can say the person, your subordinate, whoever, seems to be very frustrated and sad, and you can approach him or her and say, come on, what exactly is the problem, right? Tell me, how can I help you? Empathy. Second, all these are zero shot prompts because I am not giving any sort of a context or example. Write a poem on rain and clouds. That's it. See, it writes a poem. Creative prompting. The third one is explain why the sky appears blue. You don't need to give any reference to it, right? You just explain. That's it. So it'll go ahead and it'll explain Rayleigh scattering, etc., etc. Right? Okay. Next, we move to the second technique, which is known as few shot prompts. Few shot is giving a context or an example. Like, say, for example, classify these. I'm not going to do this just for the interest of time because we've got quite a lot to cover. But the example here is classify these as mammals or birds, dolphin and eagle. So it will classify. Then you say now classify the penguin. So I've given it an example. But if I just say classify the penguin, it will say, okay, classify the penguin. How do you want me to classify it? Okay, based on the regions, based on the continents, based on the weight, based on whether it walks or flies, etc. Here are a couple of examples again. So in few shot prompting, what happens? You give an example. So here are a couple of examples of how to find the next number of sequence in a step-by-step way. Follow the pattern. So I am telling it follow the pattern, which is 2468. Now, what is the next number? So I'm giving it an example and it understands that. Now, the third one is prompt chaining. Don't worry, the word seems complex, but the first thing when you think about a chain, what is a chain made of? Segments, right? Any chain, cycle chain, bicycle chain, any chain is segments. So what happens? We are now walking into a restaurant and I'm not going alone. We are all going together. Now, how do we order for a group? I'm not also talking of the buffet. I'm talking of sit down. Do we order saying that, okay, we want so many starters, so many items in main course and so many desserts? We usually never do that. We say, okay, let's first order the starters. So you define the goal, right? We want to have lunch or dinner. Good. Okay. Now the waiter, what do you say? Okay, we are first ordering starters. Why do we do that? Because depending on the amount of appetite we have after we finish the starters, we will talk about the main course. So there is a dependency. If the starters are not very good, we could eat more of main course or vice versa. So there is a dependency there. Then you craft individual prompts, iterate and validate, and integrate the outputs. So what do we do? If a shirt costs $750 and is on sale for 25% off, what is the final price? So what have I done? Step by step. I've said 1, 750 rupees. 2, it's on sale, 25% off. Third, question, you see the task? Yeah. What is the final price? That's a task. Think step by step. So if you do this, the response it gives you, Control C. Let's break it down step by step. So what is it doing? It understands the problem first. 750, 25% off, calculate the total discount. So what is discount? Discount is this. The formula of discount, subtract it from the original price. The final price is 562.50. Right? So any sort of a mathematical equation, any sort of a statistical information that you want, any sort of Excel based information, whatever you might be doing, can all be solved just by writing a simple prompt. Another example is that of a prime number. This is a good example of a step by step explains the prompt chaining or chain of thought prompting. Okay. What day is it 10 days after February 28? Do it step by step. So it goes, understands first the basics, leap year, because the moment you talk about a February, you have to consider if it is a leap year, yes or no. Add 10 days, count forward, right? So the 10 days after Feb 28 will be Monday, March 10, 2025. So it can also do such calculations. Okay, good. Now, what do? We jump in straight. I'm mindful of the time. We jump in straight for Office apps. By far, if you have understood so far, right, this is going to be fairly easy. Excel examples, I've got the file ready. And we look at something known as VLOOKUP. Okay. Now, for those who know VLOOKUP will realize that how important VLOOKUP is. But for those who do not know what is VLOOKUP, I'll explain in 30 seconds. I have the cities, but somehow the state is missing. My job is to populate the state against Ludhiana, state against Aizawl, etc. I also have a ready reckoner where I have all these states, cities and states in these two columns. So how will we do it as a human being? I will say, okay, city, Ludhiana. I will search for Ludhiana over here. Wherever I find Ludhiana, I will see the state against that, which is Punjab, and go here and say Punjab. Next, I again go back to this guy, search for Aizawl, and I find Aizawl over here. I say Mizoram. I go here and populate Mizoram. VLOOKUP does it the same way. But look at it. There is a function VLOOKUP, lookup value, Ludhiana, comma, F and G, comma, because the state in these two columns is second column, I say 2, and because it's an exact match, I will say 0, and you get Punjab, and I double click. I got the response because I've been doing this for donkey's years now. I can do it in sleep. But if you have to look up, read this, is equal to VLOOKUP C2, comma, F colon G, comma, 2, comma, 0, close bracket, you'll say, what language are we talking of? Confusing, isn't it? Now, what if I convert this to plain, simple English? Okay, here's where the fun starts. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to use ChatGPT on my phone and dictate. Okay, here we go. In an Excel sheet, I have a list of cities in column C. I want to populate the corresponding states in column D. In the same sheet, I also have the full list of cities and states in column F and G. Tell me what to do. It is now converting it to text. I go here. I refresh ChatGPT. New chat. Last one was the emotional thing part, which we spoke about. Now what I will do is I will submit the prompt. Submit. And now I will refresh it again. So what did I do? Voice to text. That is what got submitted. And that comes up as a new chat over here. Is this what I dictated? In an Excel sheet, I have a cities in C. I want to populate this. Okay. VLOOKUP. Did I even mention VLOOKUP here? No, I didn't. So it did this. It has written a formula for me. I don't bother. What is the formula? I just copy the formula. I go here. It says what you have to do. Understand the formula, copy the formula down, errors, all these things. I just paste it. Yeah. C2, FG2 false, of course. I wrote the same thing, of course. But the way I did it was without your understanding. Now, all we have to do, you double click. There you go. Easy. Okay. Now let's look at something else. I have this Excel sheet and I want to analyze this. Okay. Now, if you are working in a corporate, this is a data that you cannot share, right? So, and you do not know how to analyze. So, how do you do it? What you can do, one of the hack is just copy the column headers. Doesn't matter, right? Nobody in the world gets to know anything when you say date, injury location, gender, nothing. It is data, part of the data, but it is not corporate data. So I would say copy this. Go to ChatGPT and ask. You do not know, ask what is the analysis I can do with this data? What is the analysis that I can do with the following? Not data, I'm so sorry. I'm not specific. It is not data. It is column headers with the following column. That, right? Otherwise it doesn't know. Enter. How do you get into the next line in any GPT? Shift enter. If you directly press enter, it will get submitted. So here what do you have to do? You have to do a shift, press shift and then enter. And I'm just going to paste this as it is. And don't worry about these spaces, etc. Saying that there are no commas doesn't matter. Now you do not know anything about analysis. Look at this. All you have done is you have just copied the column header, and with this column you can do so many different types of analysis, right? Now it also tells you the techniques, the various techniques that you can use for each of the analysis. Okay, and see how many techniques and how many different analysis it talks about without you even sharing your data. This is one particular hack. Okay, next, if you're using Excel 2019, Excel or Excel 365, which I am using, or Excel 2021, you will also see something on the right hand side which says analyze data. Okay, now what is this analysis? A lot of times for AI you have got inbuilt analysis. Like if you consider the mobile phones and you talk about the cameras, they will say, okay, it has got 3 lenses or 4 lenses, whatever that is, AI enabled lenses. So all the processing which happens, the brightness, the contrast, the sharpness, etc., happens when you click the image. You don't have to do any post processing, that you have to go home, upload it to a particular website, it processes your image for sharpness or contrast, whatever, and then you save it. No, the cameras do it there and then, which means there is AI inbuilt in the cameras. Likewise, this is AI inbuilt in Excel, and this type of a thing is known as Edge AI. So the cameras, if they have got AI, it is known as Edge AI, EDGE. Now just have a look. When I just press analyze data, first of all, it will select the entire data. Okay, let's look at it. I'm anywhere, you have to be in the data, anywhere. Click, hands off. I'm not doing anything. I just said click. There you go. Ask a question. So what do? Now you know the question. So you can say analyze by this. See, you already are aware. When it says ask the question, you already have the answer. Who gave you the answer? This is what you pasted in ChatGPT told you about this analysis. All you now do is just copy and paste it. Looking for answers. See, there we go. Right? You've got this analysis, right? Now, assuming the fact that you want something more, well, it analyzes it, the same thing. And assuming you did not know this hack, that this is the way in which you can do some analysis, cool, no worries. It gives you suggested questions also. Do you want me to analyze by percentage of total days lost for each shift? Oh, okay, let's try it. Click. There you go. Okay. Or alternatively, even if you do not want that, it gives you a couple of insights. Discover insights. What are these insights? Incident cost report type and plant. Okay. Incident cost by age group. Days lost by gender and shift. Okay. And it goes on. Now you'll say, Aman, is that the only thing? Wow, look at this. Show all 37 results. Do you see that at the bottom? Click. And you have a whole lot of analysis happening within your computer. There is no need for this data to travel outside. So if I want this, what I do, click, insert pivot table. A pivot chart. Pivot chart gets introduced because of a pivot table. I maybe consider this, insert pivot table. This maybe, I'm not reading it, right? I mean, not getting into the details right now. Insert chart. There we go. And all that you now have to do is you have to put all of these guys together, right? If you want to create a dashboard. Now, for those who wonder what is a dashboard, let me just show you that. Give me a moment. And I will say, look up math, conditional formatting, Excel examples, tables, math formulas, basics. Okay, just give me a sec. I will open this. Business, soft skills, AI, and oops, just bear with me for a moment. Too many files. Excel, formula, dashboard, telecom pipeline. This is all random data which I have put together. And what you can do is from your core raw data, everything is random. And how did I get all these names, etc.? All through ChatGPT, right? It built it. Based on that, I created the pivot tables, the pivot charts. I cut the charts, put them into a dashboard, and this is how it looks. So say, for example, now if I want to look at, it's a sales dashboard. So I will say March, click. All the graphs numbers change. Now within March, I want to know the business done by West. Within West, the POs that have been received by, say, for example, Siddharth Saxena. It tells me all of this at a click, right? So these are sessions that I conduct separately beyond what we do today in terms of the AI aspect, because AI can create all of these charts and graphs, but as of now, it is not able to create dashboards. It can do it, but it's a very complex formula that you have to write in Python, etc. So I'm not bringing it in. Now, let's look at a few other things related to conditional formatting. I'll just explain. Conditional formatting is very easy. It gives a visual representation. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do is equal to rand between a random number between 1, 100. Okay. And what will I do? I will drag it till here, and I will drag it till here, say, for example. Okay. Let me delete this guy. I don't need him. Okay. So what I have is I have a set of random numbers. Let me just copy and paste special, because random numbers always keep changing all the while. Okay, good. Okay, so I have these random numbers. Now, what am I going to do? I have this. I go into conditional formatting, the traditional manner. Highlight cell rules between 1 and 10 and give it a light red. Now comes the aspect of repetitive nature. And we spoke about the fact that anything that is even repetitive is a waste of time. So I now want to do between 11 and 20. I want a yellow fill. Now imagine doing it 10 times. 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, etc. So rather than do that, what am I going to do? Clear rules from cells. Okay, we start with a fresh slate. I'm going to write a prompt, or let me just dictate it. Just give me a sec. In an Excel sheet, I have numbers ranging between 1 to 100. The range of the numbers is from A1 till K9. Here's what I want you to do. For numbers between 1 and 10, I want you to fill the cells with red fill. For 11 to 20, I want it to be filled with yellow fill. So on and so forth. You decide the fill colors. Secondly, I want you to write a VBA script. Okay. Now, why am I talking about a VBA script? Because based on experience, what happens is if I don't tell that to ChatGPT, ChatGPT by far will tell me, wow, here's conditional formatting. That's not what I want it to do. Okay. This is the VLOOKUP. Okay. This is the VBA script. It does that. Blue fill, etc. Okay. So maybe I think it's writing the script. It ideally should not take so much time. Okay. But in the meantime that it does that, if it doesn't, we'll have to do it again. If you have things like this, say for example, the student and expenses, you can also do this. The formula over here is related to sum if. So normal summation in Excel is very easy, right? All you have to do is equal to sum to this. But I don't want that. I have a condition. I want you to sum this up if the name is Tom. So what will it do? The way we used to use our calculators is what first we say Tom 100. We used to do a memory, put it in the memory. Then we say Jane, ignore. Arjun, ignore. Tom again 700 memory. Then what it does, calculator 100 plus 700, it does it. So in Excel this is known as sum if, which is if the name is Tom, I want you to sum it up. Okay, just give me a sec. I copy this. Let me create a new chat. Paste. And do it. See, I told you, I told it, you pick up the colors that you want. Now it has written the VBA code. So what will I do? Just give me a moment. I will copy this in a new sheet, new blank workbook, and move or copy, create a copy, book 1, and I say OK. And there is a reason for this. File, save as, browse. I put it on the desktop and I write here CF, which is conditional formatting. Okay. And sheet 1 I delete. I name this as sheet 1. Okay, and there is a reason which I'm just going to explain it to you. So when it writes that, it assumes that your data is in sheet 1. Somewhere it would have said sheet 1 because I did not specify sheet. So which is why when in our earlier case it was in sheet 3, it would get confused and it will not write it. So what we do is it has written a VBA code. Now don't worry about it. That how do I write? Oh, you don't have to write. It wrote the VBA code. What is VBA? Visual Basic Application by Microsoft. Okay. Do I understand? No, I don't have a programming background. I do it mechanically. It gives you all the various things, right? Of what can you do, how to use the VBA code. So open Excel and press Alt F11. So I go to Excel and I press Alt F11. Where do you find the Alt key? On the left and right of the space bar. So I say Alt F11, not 11, Alt F11. Now, in the VBA editor, click Insert Module. So I'm going to say Insert Module. I'm just going by this thing. Copy and paste the above code into the module. So what am I doing? Copy. Control V, paste. Just a sec. Okay. Close the editor and press Alt F8 and say run. So what am I going to do? I am just going to close this. I'm going to run this and I say run. And my friends, there we go. See, it has done this. Albeit, you can also go back and say that the colors that I want should be pastel colors, etc. Now over here, there are two ways you can give this instruction. ChatGPT, use the colors that you want, but do not use dark colors. Use pastel colors. Why would you want to say that? We typically don't say that, right? Always go back to the example of the restaurant. How do you order food? I go to a restaurant, as in all of us, and we say, okay, Mr. Waiter, today, don't get me a dosa. Also, don't get me a biryani. Don't get me curd rice. Get me idli. He'll wonder, what's wrong with you? You want an idli? Just say, tell me an idli. Remember that example. So when you say, I do not want dark colors, I want pastel colors, you're confusing somebody. You might rather say, the colors, you choose the colors. However, the colors I want are all pastel colors. Ask what you want. Anybody into manifestation will know this. Ask what you want. Don't say, I do not want this. Yeah, okay. This is it. Cool? Good. So, what did I do over here? Just to refresh, I told it that first of all, it's an Excel sheet. Within that, there are numbers ranging from 1 to 100. How? Assume you're blindfolded and I'm reading out everything to you. So I have to tell you all the details. Number one, it's an Excel sheet. What is there in the Excel sheet? There are numbers. Numbers from A1 till K9. Range of numbers 1 to 100. Good. So I've told you. Now you have started seeing it in your mind. Now what happens? You go ahead and then I say, here's the task. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to pick up all the colors in bands 1 to 10, etc., etc. Now you say, don't give me conditional formatting. You don't. I want you to write a VBA code. Much better. And it did it. Right? Okay. Good. So we have done a little bit of Excel over here, some fun activities. There are quite a few. Of course, these are all things which we have already put it across. Let me also tell you about now PowerPoint. We have about 20 minutes. So we have about, so let me do that. So here I start with a new chat. Help me with 5 slides. I'm just saying 5 slides because we need to cover quite a bit. So I'm just saying 5 slides on the topic of global warming. Is this the right prompt? Something's wrong here. What happens? I want 5 slides. It cannot directly create slides. Help me with content. It's a two-step process. So when I do interviewing skills, right, this is what I ask the participants, that what is the purpose of the resume? Haman, the purpose of the resume is to get me a job. I said, wonderful. In which case, you might start a printing press and keep printing resumes because that is going to land you the job. My friend, the purpose of a resume is to land you the interview. And depending on what you do in an interview, you get a job. So it's exactly the same. It's a two-step process. First, help me with the content for 5 slides on the topic of global warming. Now, when it gives you the content, you create slides. Good. You can of course write more, but okay. See, it's creating content. Now, while it is doing that, it's just 5 slides. So it is so simple. What you could literally do is just copy this and keep pasting it into PowerPoint. This is one simple way. Provided you have 5, 6 slides, this is the best way you can do it. This is one. Okay. Now, the second one is what I can do is if there are a larger number of slides, copy paste is obviously not an ideal thing. So what do we do? I want a downloadable file in PPT. The new version is known as PPTX. So lesser number of files, do it simple. Copy paste. Simple, the best way. Okay, assuming there are 10, 50 slides, 100 slides, this is the way you can do it. Download, desktop, save, click. There you go. I say enable editing, right? The one challenge which you will face is if you see this slide, which is 16:9, which is known as an aspect ratio, it looks much better. But so far, ChatGPT, the way it does it, it creates slides into an aspect ratio which is 4 horizontal, 3 vertical, doesn't look good. So what can you do? On the left hand side, you see one slide is selected. You just do a Control A for all, Control A, all slides are selected. Go into design, slide size. Right now you see 4:3 selected, gray, click. All your slides are converted to 16:9. That is if you, just like me, forgot to mention that I want the slides in the aspect ratio of 16:9. Assuming you forget it, this is the way you can do it. Now what do? We look at Edge AI over here. So what is Edge AI? For versions 2019, Microsoft PowerPoint 365, PowerPoint 2021, you have, when you go into the Home tab, you have Designer. Click. Edge AI inbuilt. Global warming. Causes. Okay, maybe we look at this image. What is global warming? What are the causes? Greenhouse effects, etc. Right? Effects of global warming. The ice issues, right? Sustainable energy. Now, these are something which is text and image, which is completely split, right? Sharp, all of these. Do you want something better this way? What you do, close Designer, open it again. Now it knows this is your preferred color or a preferred picture. So it gives you various different aspects to it. The way when we look at this, it's a gradual movement from the text to an image rather than something which is sharp. It gives you something in maybe a curvature kind of a thing, or maybe something like this. You can literally play around. So there are 2 ways in which you can apply it. This is known as Edge AI, right? Okay. Now, for those who have got Copilot, the way I see here. Now, all the while that I have been using ChatGPT, my friends, it's free. So I do so many sessions on Gen AI day in and day out. So far, I haven't purchased or subscribed to ChatGPT because there are so many things that literally you can do for free, right? Every day you get a couple of chances or couple of things where you can use the full version of it for free 3 to 4 times. So when I go here, let me start a new chat. And when I go here, I can always say plus. So when I use this, I can upload from a computer. I've already shown that to you, the PDF file, graphs, etc. So right now, it gives me a few chances to try out the paid version. You'll get some 3 to 4 chances. After which, it'll say, oh, sorry, your limit for this session is exhausted. You will again get a new limit after maybe at say 7 o'clock 15 minutes. It's written there. You can always do that. But assuming you want to buy it, then you can just click here, and this is what you can do. I'm using the free version. This is $20 per month, and this is $200 per month, right? If you are using it the way, and I do extensive amount of work on ChatGPT, I would suggest use the free one. However, we saw it in ChatGPT that ChatGPT and Excel, Word, PowerPoint are all two separate things. Now, if you want it integrated, here's what the benefit is. And I'm not selling because I'm not associated with Microsoft. Yeah. Okay. Now, here is something which I've paid for. Deliberately, not because I have to use it just for demonstration purposes. I've got Copilot within this, so I've subscribed for it. In your world, you will not see this kind of a thing. So I click this, which is the Copilot icon. And I will say, just give me a moment. Okay. Draft a business memo. Draft document based on file. If you have a file, you can attach that file and it will create a document. Produce a summary of a file. If you've got a file, you can always do that. So I will just say draft a business memo. Enter. Create a report. Anything that you want. Do you see the advantage of this? The fact is, it is integrated. So you don't have to create content separately, copy, paste it into Word. It all is within. It's like a mall. You have all the shops within, so it's all integrated. So I just say keep it, and there you go. Yeah. The beauty is the fact that it is all ready for you, formatted, everything complete for you, right? And depending on what you want, right? Good. This is one part. The other aspect is, let me just close this, and I will also close this one. There are quite a lot of sessions I take. I'm just talking of the tip of the iceberg, my friends. So I do a lot of corporate session, and these are literally for 2 days, 3 days. I've done it for Tata Electronics, Hitachi, etc. So the things that we do together is the fact that I do sessions based on industry, generative AI for manufacturing, or generative AI for a particular industry, BFSI, etc. One, based on the industry vertical. I've done sessions for, say, Hitachi for HR, Gurgaon, where it was a 2 day session only for HR. How can HR? So it's function specific. So industry specific, function specific. Those are the things, and I can really get into the depths and literally make it all automated for you. If we look at a blank presentation over here, and I say create a presentation, and I will use the same example. You have got 2000 characters, but let me just create a presentation about global warming. The same example, so you're able to compare. And anybody wants to time it, stopwatch, do it now. The speed. I just used two words, global warming. Nothing. My hands are here, hands free. Okay, content done. Click, generate slides. Only click. So assume a situation where you are at your desk and your manager or super boss says, okay, I want you to walk in the conference room right now and I want you to present on a topic of something. You say, okay, coming. Okay, next 2 minutes, I want you to be there. You give this prompt in PowerPoint, start taking your, use your laptop, walk with your laptop. By the time you're in the conference room, the presentation is ready for you. Less than 2 minutes. Ideally, it should be about a minute or so, or a little over a minute. So there, apart from this, there are quite a bit of other tools also, which I will quickly show you after this is done. You have the slides, 23 slides ready without lifting a finger. And what you do is the graphics in place and the appropriate graphics in place, animations in place, agenda in place, introduction, definition, context. See the quality that it is being used, right? Okay. This is another thing which you can literally do using PowerPoint, AI and PowerPoint. Now, if this isn't enough, I'm going to show you a tool, gamma.app, right? And it's going to be Kids Play, where they've done it in a way that the brightest thing on the screen is it draws your attention to it, create new. So I said, okay, let me create a new one. You can paste in some text. So assuming we pasted in, or we got content created on this. So I can just paste this. One of the other things which you can do, you don't have to live with one Gen AI tool. You use the output of one in AI tool like this, copy and put it into another tool for taking it forward, because this guy is a presentation specialist. So paste in the text, or you can get it generated, the things. You can import a file or even a URL. You just mention a URL. Okay, import from URL. It can directly do that. Let me say upload a file, and I go into D, Aman, reading material. And oh, this is all my reading material. So I told you I read a lot. So say, for example, personal branding playbook. Okay, now, do you want it as a presentation? Do you want it as a web page document? Or you want for social media? Okay, maybe presentation. Continue. It'll next ask me whether it is written this, should it use the same thing, or it generates its own stuff, or preserve, etc. I am just going to say 8 cards. It can go up to 15 cards, 20 cards, 30 cards, slides, etc. So I'm just saying continue. The themes that you have, you can just keep going on and on, which you see on the right hand side. All these themes, so many different themes. So what I can do is I go into, say, my custom theme, and I use one of these theme, click, no typing. Sit back, relax, enjoy. 8 slides will be ready for you. So if you want such things, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Also email writing. If you look at integration of, say, for example, automating your emails with external things, where if you get an email from a customer who has written something, then you can write, etc. All of those things is what we can do. These are like typically full day sessions, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day sessions is all what we kind of look at. Personal branding. Yeah, 4 slides. If there are any questions, feel free to reach out. Let me know. I will be happy to answer. Um, the more I know about you and the challenges, the better, because I repeat, all my sessions are 100% customized. One thing if I've learned in the last 34 years of my experience is give the customer what he or she wants, not what you want to say. It doesn't matter. So all my sessions in the earlier days when I was in sales, even today, sessions are fully customized, right? So you have this, it is ready. I go to the first slide and I just present it directly from here. No export, no nothing. My name is here. Yeah, this is why how it does it. And the fact that when I look at this, you see the colors are also matched to my not corporate, my own brand logo. This is my brand logo on the right hand side, which is exactly the color. So it also matches it there. Now I exit this and you want, there's so many options here you can do. Export to a PDF, you can do it. PowerPoint, Google Slides, PNGs as images, LinkedIn, all up to you what you want to do, right? So at 4:28, we will stop the session now. Any questions which you have, happy to take questions, and looking forward where I can add much, much, much more value. This was just a tip of the iceberg of what we saw today, but we can really get down into the real stuff where we can solve very complex Excel calculations, formulas, all of them just write and they can just do it. Even Word, Excel, all of those. Yeah, any questions? Just need to unmute. I'll see if there is anything in chat that has come up for me. Raj Narayan, thank you so much, Raj. Yeah. Uh, Chiranjeevi, Siva, thank you all. It really means a lot. And this is literally the fun aspect. And one of the other things which people worry about jobs. Okay, AI is not going to take up the jobs. Who is going to take away the jobs is people who know AI will take away the jobs. AI will only add to the jobs. This is something which I was hearing way back in 80s and 90s. 90s is when I was in my engineering days. And it's like, oh, IT is going to take away jobs. But IT, has it taken jobs? No. Imagine the amount of jobs that are being created, not just primary jobs, people who are working, secondary, tertiary jobs, construction, transport, chai wala, pan wala, all those kind of things, restaurants, the number of jobs. So jobs will increase, but the difference is people who know AI versus people who do not know AI. That will be the differentiator, right? So reach out to us. We can always have sessions, and these sessions can be a group session. These sessions can be customized for you, for your organization, where I travel to your organization, to your office, wherever it is, or we can do online. Doesn't matter. I'm comfortable doing both. So that's how it is. Manish, anything for me? Thank you so much. Is there any other free AI tool for programming for? Oh, there are so many tools. There are so many. Okay, every day things are kind of mushrooming literally. So maybe the best way to do it is use ChatGPT, or if you're using Twitter, Twitter has got Grok, Grok, a very good tool. I loved it. Grok. It's free. Of course, it's paid, but you don't have to go for the paid version. I love Grok. Brilliant. You can use that, and you can ask this that what are the tools that you recommend, and it'll help you. Incidentally, just to let you know, since about 2 3 days, I'm building my website. It's there, but I'm kind of revamping my website. And what you see right now is a very different one because I've not published what am I doing behind the scenes. But literally everything I'm using ChatGPT to kind of literally I'm picking ChatGPT's brains, right? And saying what can I do, this, etc. Because I don't have a background in website design. And the amount of information, knowledge that I've gathered in the last 2 days, I've implemented that. Literally, that's the way I kind of looked at it, right? Good. So, if nothing more, I now look forward to doing in-depth sessions for y'all. Apart from AI, I also do sales. Of course, it's in my forte. Behavioral skills, communication, why it's so important. Yeah, leadership. I'm a certified executive coach, certified leadership coach. So, any of these things, reach out. I'm happy to help you in that. Okay. I'll drop off, and once again, thank you. God bless. Bye. See you.